Hi, today I'm going to show you how to extract the data from the bathymetry file um, in QGIS. Previously, I have another video that show you if you have the bathymetry data, in this case the georeference TIFF file, how to extract the data from that file. But usually the bathymetry file has a very high resolution. For example, here this is the one I last time showed, and this time I showed the eTopo1 global relief model, and it has a 1 minute resolution. So basically it's a 1/60th of the degree, the resolution of the file. If this is the resolution one, that's fine. We can go and extract the data with QGIS um, from that file, and it extracted data with that resolution. But usually it's a very fine resolution, and the extracted file is going to be really large, and most likely we don't need that much resolution. If we don't need that resolution, we prefer to have the coarser resolution. I show you also today how we can do that. For today's example, I said I use the eTopo global relief model, and if you go there, has I use the bedrock bathymetry, and basically this one, the georeference TIFF file. I'll show you how to do that. So I already downloaded this. I will go to QGIS and show you how to do that. So the first we have to go to the layer and add the raster layer. So click here, add raster layer, and then choose wherever you have your TIFF file. So for example, I have my TIFF file sitting here. I already downloaded, so I add it to QGIS, and it's going to be added. Um, First, before I go ahead, I have to go ahead and set the projection. So go here, go to the properties, and then go to the source, and you see it says the invalid projection. You have to choose the correct projection. If you go there back here and go all the way down, you will see that the horizontal projection here is the WGS 84. So that's what I'm gonna choose here. So choose the WGS 84 and click OK. So now I uploaded my T file, and also I set up the projection. Now, as I said in previous video, if I show you, if you want to export the data with the resolution of this TIFF file, that's okay, you can do that. But as I said, it's going to be very fine resolution. But if it's not, we can use the custom grid to export the data uh, on that grid. So for example, here I'm going to show you how to export the data on custom here on Persian Gulf. It's sitting somewhere here. So first of all, I'm going to create a custom grid that covers the area I want. So if you go to the vector and then go to research tool and go to regular points. So click on that. It will ask you to um, uh, basically define the area you want to add the grid. So you can, for example, here and say use the map extent, or you can draw it on canvas, or you can just directly input it here. So for example, if I click on draw on canvas, I can go ahead and draw it there and say, okay, this is what I want, and it will fill it for me. But since I have the exact number, I'm gonna put the numbers that I have, so I know the area I want starts from the 46 and then goes all the way to um, uh, 58. So it's the longitude, and the latitude starts from 23 and goes to 30, 31. So minimum, maximum, so it's a minimum longitude, maximum longitude, minimum latitude, maximum latitude. And then the point spacing, so this is how much the degree I want. As I said, we can use anything. Here I'm gonna use 0.5 degrees. It's relatively coarse, but I use it to create a layer so we can see the points, but we can use whatever resolution we want. For example, coarser or finer, we can put it here, and then make sure that the projection is clicked, and we don't want to save it, so we just run it and it's gonna create it for us. So you can see it's create a mesh over the Persian Gulf. So if I go ahead and zoom to the layer, so you can see that it's created there. So this is my GIS created. So if I go ahead and click on the attribute, you see it's created, but only I have the ID for that. Now that I create a grid, I have to add the XY for each of point to that layer. So there are two ways of doing that. One way, I can go to vector to geometry tool and click on add geometry attribute, and it's gonna add the XY to my layer. The other way that I can do it here is I can come here to toolbox. If you don't have it, it's in pre-processing toolbox. So click on pre-processing toolbox, and it's going to be here, and then type XY. So it says another one is to add XY field to layer. It's both of them basically do the same thing. So here I'm use the first one. So I go geometry tool and add geometry attribute. So it asks with layer I want to add it, so that points there, so the projection is there, and basically I don't need to do anything. I just run it and it's gonna add that. So if it add a new layer, now if I come here again, right click, go to open attribute, we'll see that it adds the X coordinate and Y coordinate here. Now I don't need the ID anymore. The ID comes, so I'm gonna delete it. Click on editing mode here and click on delete the field, click on ID, click OK, and click on save and exit the editing mode. So now I have X and Y coordinate in this one. Now that I have X and Y, I need to interpolate the Z value at those XY values. So I come here, type sample, and it will come as the sample raster values. So if you click on that, it's going to sample the raster values as given. So it will asking you which layer you want to use it. So this is the layer, so the second layer that has the X and Y value, and from which layer I want to add. So it's going to be from my TIFF file I want to be exported, and this is going to be the name of the field that's going to fill it. So you can put the Z value or you can leave it as it is, and then run it, and it's gonna interpolate it, the value there. So again, if I come here, click on that and open the attribute, now I have X coordinate, Y coordinate, and sample value, which are basically my Z values. So before I go ahead and export it, so I can right click, go to properties, make sure that click on the source, make sure the projection is correct. Then you can click on the field, and you can rename these fields values. So click on the editing mode. So for example, make this X, make this Y, and make this Z value, and then click on to close the target, just to save it. So it's gonna be the X, Y, and Z, and click OK. So now if I open the attribute table again, it's the X, Y, and Z. And now I can again right click there and then export the feature or save feature as. So it opened this. I can choose any of the format I want. Usually I export it as a CSV. It's usually the easiest one to work with. And then the name of the file, so I'll just call it the Persian Gulf. And so the name of the file, the projection is correct. You can add save file command, we don't need it, so I just click on that and then click OK, and it's gonna save the CSV file for you. So if I go ahead here and open it, so you can see, so it's exported X, Y, Z, and all those data that we want. So this is how we can export it as this is how we can export a part of the TIFF or the entire TIFF file on the custom grid rather than export it on the original resolution of the